Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How do you do? My name is Scott Nance. I am the film critic for Access Hollywood, and let me tell you something. You are the luckiest, ladies and gentlemen, in this entire country right now, because ever since this film started screening at the fall film festivals, its director has been out of the country making a film, a sequel to a movie called Blade Runner. Okay? So tonight, for the first time, we are going to see him in the flesh to talk about this movie. He's here in this building. And if that wasn't great enough, just this morning, Arrival was nominated for 10 Critics' Choice Award nominations. 10. Including picture, director, screenplay, actress. The National Board of Review named Amy Adams Best Actress for Arrival. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome director Denis Villeneuve. And five-time Academy Award nominee Amy Adams.
We want to bring you everywhere.
I'll
Had you
tell
been
you.
Thanksgiving, right? That would have been awesome.
Well, this is the season. Okay, well, first of all, like, what was your reaction to this morning, just getting 10 nominations for this film? To have this reaction, not just from moviegoers, but also from critics, and just everyone just responding the way they are to the message, no pun intended, of Arrival.
Good evening. No, the thing is, myself, I'm still digesting it. It's a superb content. Yeah, I just arrived in the United States 30 hours ago, and I woke up this morning with that news. It was a nice way to wake up.
That was.
A very beautiful content.
How about you, Amy?
It was really exciting, not only, for me to get that, but to have 9 other categories be awarded. That's like my dream, and the reason to get out here and talk about it is to get the people who don't get to be in front of the film, to get them noticed. And so for me, it's really validating that Bradford and Johan and Patrice, all these people.
Okay, guys, you have to understand, we didn't see each other since so long.
We were just experiencing. Anyway.
Sorry.
This is special. This is really
It's
special.
really special. I should have just left it at that. Very special.
I mean, for Denis, you've been wanting to do a sci-fi movie for a long, long time. What was it about Arrival that made you go, this is the one?
But I don't know what you receive, you here, but when I read the short story, the short story from Ted Chiang, I felt that there was a strong potential to tell a beautiful story about the human condition, our relationship with death, and make peace with that, and to embrace life. I thought it was like a really poetic, strong, powerful story, and it was, when I read it, as much as I felt in love with it, I felt that it would be a huge challenge to adapt it, and I didn't see how. And then Eric Eisert came, the screenwriter, and found a way to crack it and find a dramatic structure into it, transformed it as a screenplay. But I strongly recommend to you all to read the short story. The short story is less about geopolitics, it's more about language, and it's really beautiful, a little masterpiece.
So what was it that Eric Heiser, the screenwriter, how did he crack it? Like, what was it that made him just go, I got this?
I think that the way he brought, as I said, a dramatic structure coming out of I would say like geopolitic problem. I don't know how to say that in English, sorry folks, I'm tired. From a geopolitic problem. And I think that he was able to create strong links between the intimate journey of Louise and all the tension around the world in a more efficient way that it was written in a short story at the time. Yeah, that's what I would say. And to compress time, of course. Yeah.
So-
The short story happens over months, and our movies are over weeks.
So Amy, at the time you got the screenplay, you were, correct me if I'm wrong, you were not looking for something to do at that moment, and then you get the screenplay and you go, I gotta do this. What made you fall in love with Louise Banks?
Well, the script, again, it felt very special and very singular, and it was something I was really intrigued by. And then I met this lovely man in a fateful meeting one day. But yeah, I met Denis, and hearing him speak about it, and the way that he speaks is so captivating and so thoughtful. He has a great emotional intelligence, and I could tell that from the way he spoke about his intentions with the script. And I said, I don't know if I can do it right now. And he said, great, I'll do Sicario and then we'll do this. So I was like, great, that's amazing. And that's how we began our journey.
Wow, that's nice. So you went off and did Sicario. By the way, Sicario. I came back from Sicario, that was also in Toronto last year, in 2015, and I said, you know, Denis Villeneuve is going to be the kind of filmmaker that we are going to be studying in film school really, really fast. And but when I interviewed you for Prisoners a few years ago, I'm like, wow, you're so calm. I mean, like, is he a calm director?
Yes.
And what makes him sort of unique?
Because I don't understand what you're saying. So that's why.
Communication.
There you go.
I always suspected that. I was like, I can't tell if Denis is so calm because I don't know what he's saying. Like, he could have been cussing at me the whole time. I wouldn't have known. He was just always smiling, and he seemed so calm.
What kind of research? I mean, did you meet with a linguist?
I did.
And how did that help elevate your performance?
Well, you know, what helped me about meeting with the linguist was understanding what she does and sort of letting go of this idea that she had to be this expert interpreter or translator. And really, her speaking about her field work kind of led me on a journey of exploration on the field work of linguists. And that's where I sort of found the key to how Louise would approach language in that way. And in that, linguists have to be very non-judgmental, very open to receive information from their subjects, because she studied Mayan, indigenous Mayan languages. So it's such a complicated thing, and it's, you know, when you're studying something or when you're researching for a part, for me what's so important is to not let that research get in the way of her being a human first, you know. So that's also, it was nice to meet sort of flesh and bone linguist who has a life and a child and all that good stuff.
Well, the thing that really struck me on an emotional level, I mean, here's this grand moment, you know, first contact, but the movie is it's intimate. It's about a mother, it's about family, and it works on both levels. It works on the epic, broad level, and it works on the intimate level, like in equal measure, so to speak. But because of the heart of the film, and because of the scientific accuracy, how far did you go to ensure that it was as scientifically accurate as possible in terms of meeting with scientists, really establishing a language with the aliens?
But the thing, first of all, I must say that the screenwriter did his homeworks, and just had need to. I had the support of scientists and some linguists and also some physicians that were and mathematics experts that came on board just to make sure. At the end of the day, the movie is very doesn't go deep in those fields, but I wanted to know where we were accurate and where we were about to lie. You know, it's just to know where to know the boundaries and to make sure that what we're doing would make sense. I don't know if there's any linguist in this room, but the thing is that I wanted to make sure that nobody would start to laugh if they were like in that field, and that it would make sense and that it would be like truthful to reality. Because one of the goals of the movie was, since the start, where I was saying to my friends, the producers, to the screenwriter Eric, or to my crew, I always said I would love to make this movie like if it was happening for real. So there was a tremendous amount of focus on research and to make sure that we are accurate with technology, with science. It's just you know, when you make a movie, in a way, it's the art of lying to tell the truth. You know, we are telling stories, so it's not real. But at the same time, reality is always the strongest. How can I say that in English? Food. I mean, it's like the main. Since the reality is so strong, so I always try to go as close to reality as possible.
Well, why was
Censorship.
Yeah. Why was Amy your dream Louise Banks?
Oh, from the start, the first thing that came up among us when we were talking about casting, and when we decided to make the movie together with my friends, Aaron and Dan and anyway, the producers, Amy was our first. Our first idea and my first dream myself is because I needed a very strong actress that would be able to. There's a lot of stories that are happening at the same time in that woman's brain, in that woman's art, and I wanted to have someone that would be able to travel through those stories, those levels, those layers, those depths. It requires someone that has a lot of. She's the actress that is doing this. That we portrait Louise would need to be in every single shot. You know, going through that journey of making us believe that she's going through a mourning process, which is in fact like a kind of depressive process, and at the same time going through this idea of meeting aliens coming from another world. There's a lot of layers here, and I needed a very strong actress for that, and Amy came to my mind spontaneously because she has this ability to be of precision, of skills, that she's not one of the strongest actors alive right now for me. So, she has that youth and that maturity at the same time. Anyway, I was so, and the thing is that what I must say, most of the time when we approach an actor or an actress, it takes a long time to receive an answer, and you give an answer, I think, in 36 hours or something like that.
I think I gave it in the room, but I had to like check with my people, you know. I was like, I'm gonna do this, but don't tell anybody until I tell them to. Yeah, no, I was excited. Yeah. Is it working? See now?
Okay,
It is.
now
I
we
can
can do
hear
that
like
together.
some
Let's
really
do this together, Amy.
radical
Is
feedback.
this working? No, this is not.
No, yours is not.
I think I got it.
Okay, so Amy, this is working. This is working. Why was this process challenging for you, like all the way through? Like, why was it a challenging journey for you from start to finish, really?
I mean, it's funny with Denis here. I'm not reminded of the challenges. I know they were there, but it's one of those things that I think becomes sort of a hot topic, how it was hard to do. But working with Denis is a joy, and working with the team was such a joy, and whatever the challenges were, we all were in it together, and it never felt like, not worth it, you know? So in that way, it was, I mean, the hazmat suit kind of sucked, but, and that Mandarin nearly did me in, but honestly, I mean, yes, creating a character and creating this sort of layered thing where I'm in this mourning process, but I'm actually not, but, you know, Denis we were constantly taking Louise's temperature emotionally just to make sure that, you know, we were being honest and being as truthful as possible. And I think physically the hardest thing, and a little bit emotionally, is Denis had always said, I want her to feel like she has vertigo or like she's a little seasick. I think I manifested that with a lot of roll the entire 10 weeks. But it was a joy, and whatever the challenges were, we all felt like we were in it together. It never felt like I was on my own. So in that way, I can't really speak of the challenges of making this. I mean, they were there, but for the most part, it was just wonderful.
This is fun. Denis, I want to ask you about the design of the spacecraft and the design of the aliens themselves, because you never really see, well, you don't see their faces, or you do, they're just a little different from what we're used to seeing. So I wonder if you could talk about the production design of the aliens and of the spacecraft itself.
Well, quickly, I was dreaming to do sci-fi since decades. I mean, I was a kid, I wanted to tell sci-fi stories, I was like into sci-fi, so when that project came and I decided to jump on board and do it, and I was like, okay, that was like a big dream. And it became very quickly a big nightmare. Because I realized that it's not easy to design creatures, to design a world, to design behaviors, to design a different way of thinking, of moving, I mean, it was a real big challenge. And it just increased my respect for directors that did that in the past, big time. I had just more respect for all those directors who did it before me. And the way I did it is that I worked very, very closely with an artist. His name is Carlos Fuente. He's you probably don't know him, but he's someone that worked closely with Ridley Scott as well for movies like Prometheus or The Next Alien, or someone that tremendously talented artist working here in California. And we spent months brainstorming together. We inspired ourselves from the short story, The Alien That Flew At, obviously 7 legs. But I wanted the alien to have a strong physical presence. A bit like when I don't know if you ever been in contact with a very huge animal, like an elephant, or a huge horse, or even a whale in the water, something that brings a kind of fear, but at the same time a kind of respect, and at the same time you feel a kind of benevolence and a kind of strong intelligence in a different way of thinking. And so we had it was a very long process, and the main idea was to approach something that would be from subconscious point of view, like a kind of figure of death, because for me the spaceship and the aliens were linked with the idea of that Louise would go meet them and be in contact with something that is bigger than us, bigger than life, and that is like, she would make peace with this thing that is, we will all go through, we will be all in contact with, and we are so afraid of, which is death. So we try to, it's not something that you're supposed to know when you look at the movie, it's something you're supposed to feel. And so it was a long work in order to try to create that strange figure, strange creature that I'm very proud of. In the same time, I was expecting someone from one of the producers of the studio to say to me, hey, stop, you're crazy, it doesn't make sense. Nobody did, but I'm still amazed that I was able to do that. They allowed me to do this. The spaceship is based on, in the screenplay, it was like described as a sphere. And I thought that a sphere, we've seen that before, it's like something that has been approached before. And I was just looking for a more ominous shape, something a bit more frightening, something a bit more strange, something that will have not been seen before. And I inspired myself from there's in space right now in the solar system, a rock, something that is like it's not big enough to be a planet, but it's big and it's a huge thing. It's called Omega, Haumea. You can Google it. It's true. It's a huge ovoid shape like that, and it floats around. And when I saw that, I freaked out. That's the shape of the spaceship. It's so for me to know that. I always thought that planets were round, or like asteroids, like rocks, but that strange, perfect ovoid shape like that. Anyway, Google.
Oh, sorry.
This is fun. So I want to turn it over to you if you have any questions. But before I do, the amazing thing about Arrival is that it's when I saw it for the second time, it was a more rewarding experience because you know what to look for. Trust me, I'm not just trying to sell tickets. It's a fact. But when you see it, like you know what to look for. When you realize the movie is like this and not like that, it makes for a more rewarding experience repeatedly. So, like how do you sort of respond? Because I'm sure a lot of people have said that, oh, you gotta see this again. It's even better the second time around.
Yes, but I had the same feeling when I read the short story. When you read, I did read the short story. When I arrived at the end, I was like, what? And it was a strong emotional shock, and I had to read it again to see the genius of that child, because with words you can do things that with past, with the tense of the verbs, you can. He was playing, and I didn't pay attention to it. The short story is such a little masterpiece. So I'm just saying that. I understand what you mean, because I had the same feeling when I read the short story.
Yeah. Let's take it from the audience. Who's got a question? All right, you first. Nice and loud.
Hi. As a Chinese audience, I noticed that at the end of the film, the character Louis talked to General Chang in Chinese. So I noticed that there's no English subtitles for American audiences. Is there somewhere in the script a full version of the conversation translated into the English, and you in post you just decided to not show what the conversation is really about in English to American audience?
Okay, so Monsieur is saying that at one point there's like a conversation in Chinese between Louise and the general, and it's not translated. And for me, it was very important to keep the mystery of the language there, and that it was more powerful to not necessarily understand. I don't know if other people are speaking Chinese or Mandarin in this room.
Or
but,
not even understood.
or if they understood Amy Adams Mandarin. I don't know what you thought about Amy. She works hard. I mean, seriously, she works hard.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it was like it was important for me to keep the mystery of the secret he was saying to her. I thought it was more powerful in some ways to not understand. I felt I'm from a French part of Canada, as you noticed, and I remember watching American movies when I was young in English. And I was like, wow, what they are saying right now, it feels deep. And later on, when I understood, I was always a bit disappointed. I'm just saying, I like the idea of something it's more powerful to imagine, than to know.
Thank
Who
you.
else has a question? Right there, you, yeah.
Miss Adams, how do you do this wonderful interaction with these magnificent giant creatures when you're actually looking at a tennis ball on a stick?
Denis was, had enough forethought to hire puppeteers, actually. So they ran around in leotards, right? With sticks behind. They were bigger than tennis balls, which is good, and sort of like fuzzy. And they would move, which really helped create an organic experience. And then it helped because we had little earpieces in our things because we couldn't hear what was happening, so we would hear Denis go, "They alive." The epithopods leave. I promised him I'd do the imitation I've been doing for 4 months without him here. I promised I'd do it in front of him, so there you go. But it created actually an experience because Denis' voice became the guide for what I needed to do, and he's, as you can hear from him speaking tonight, he's just a wonderful presence, and he sort of became Abbott and Costello for me, and sort of the conversations we had, and I've always thought it's just the actor's job to create what isn't there, so it's just an extension of imagination.
I mean, it's good, great actors can do that, not everybody. I mean, it's just that the movie works because Amy and Jeremy really did a fantastic job to make us believe that there was two beings in front of them. I must say that. I mean, it's like, it's not easy.
You, right over there.
Thank you. Thank you both for being here. It's like so amazing and an honor to be in front of you two. But I noticed in the film there was a lot of like matriarchal overtones and how like it was a woman and the power of communication and empathy which kind of stopped this global war, as opposed to like these male leaders that wanted to go forth and be violent and male soldiers that wanted to go forth and be violent. I'm curious, did those kind of like female-centric themes influence your character or influence your direction of the film? Because to me that was such a message of like women in power and human empathy.
I'm just the actress.
No, it was written like that in the short story. I felt that it was like the idea. I don't know. Is it about women of femininity? The idea of to be open to nature and I mean it's a cliche about the world of intuitions, and I felt that. You know what? I mean, since 80,000 years, the guys are in power, and it's not going very well. We hope that the other half of humanity can do something good about it. Seriously, no, but it's about. It's just about for me. It's like the movies. It's human beings are always try to control things, and I think we should more listen to things sometimes. So that's the way I should say about femininity in this movie.
But I will say, just to give it to the guys, we had a male director who has compassion and empathy. No, seriously, like a male writer. There are men out there with compassion and empathy, and I don't think we should only assign that to women, because I think let's celebrate the men who have that as well.
All right, Scott, time for you, right there, you. Yeah, you. Loud.
I'm really curious about the use of the score and,
Yeah.
and your collaboration with Johan Johansson, and how amazing it was from Sicario to this, how it's like another character of the film, and how it's so important to the design and the emotion of the film. It's just magnificent to see the alien language almost becomes part of the score. I'm just very curious how you collaborate.
Your collaboration, and also, didn't he write the score before you started filming?
Yeah. It's like I started to work with Johan on Prisoners, and the thing that we did on those 3 movies, and on the one I'm doing right now, which is I'm bringing you on at day zero. You know, he come, he read the screenplay, come on set. He started to compose the music. Sorry, he started to compose the music on Arrival. Before I started to shoot, I was shooting the movie, listening to some of his score. Then I'm editing the movie. The way I work is that I edit the movie without a single note of music, just to find the tension and to see where the problems are and really to feel the movie. And after that, I'm giving the movie to Johan, and he starts to compose, and then it's like a long dance back and forth. He doesn't arrive at the end and compose the music. He does in 3 weeks. He has a long time, so it's not like he doesn't apply his music on the movie. It's like his music is married. It's like organically mixed with the movie since day one, you know. So for Arrival, he composed the first piece that I listened was that fantastic piece that he wrote for when Louis is in the helicopter and see the spaceship for the first time. Those voices, this kind of drone and dark tones, it was there when I was shooting. So it means it's a long process with you want a very creative, beautiful creative process, but it's a long dance to. So at the end, it's like the images and the music are making one. It's the first time that it's the first artist that I have that kind of relationship with. It's like unique for me. I really like to share ideas at the birth of the ideas, and he goes with music, I go with images, and at the end we find each other. And it's really a beautiful thing for me to evolve with him and to create this way. But it's a long process.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Arrival is in theaters now, so if you love the film, spread the word, go on social media, go on Facebook, Twitter, if you're still using MySpace. Ladies and gentlemen, Denis Villeneuve.